You're now tuned in with Tizzle and Daya Delight. This is a slice of cake.
Hey man, big ups. This shit was 5 years in the making, man. 5 years in the making. Finally got my own podcast, man. You are now in tune with a slice of cake, the podcast. And I have my beautiful co-host across from me.
Hey y'all, Daya Delight in the building.
Hey.
Y'all add me on Instagram.
You know they gonna add you. They say you looking like a snackety snack.
A snacky snack.
A snackety snack.
A snackety snack.
Uh-huh.
Baby, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Yeah, I see Mr. LPGTv right there. He don't like to be on camera, but there he go, y'all.
Right.
Hey, man, so we going to be talking about, a few different things. Of course, everybody know, the whole Nipsey thing is the big, talk of the town, the talk of the world, actually, right now. I mean, that shit even reached his motherland of Ethiopia. That's going to be our icing. The berry on top, we're going to be talking about our men still men. And the crumbs is going to be shooting your shot at a man or a woman that's broken. A broken hoop. Shooting your shot on a broken hoop, basically. Our phone lines are open. It's going to be 561-847-4130. Again, that's 561-847-4130. Right now, what we're going to do, though, we're going to go ahead and we're going to get into the icing. We're going to go ahead and talk about Nipsey and Dr. CB. So, pretty much, if you don't know who Nipsey Hussle is, LA rapper, philanthropist, entrepreneur, man. Like, Nipsey did some of everything. He was married to Lauren London. Pretty much, he died on March 31st. Got shot in front of his marathon store. Real sad situation. The crazy part about Nipsey is that I didn't really follow his music. I listened to some of his songs, but I didn't follow his music, but I knew him as far as like when he spoke and, his entrepreneurship. Like when he came out with his Crenshaw mixtape,
Right.
Jay-Z bought 100 copies for $100. And like, that's when I really started following Nipsey and trying to like,
Right.
see how he did business. He was supposed to have a meeting with the LAPD on April 1st. So, Daya, just tell me a little bit about how you feel about the situation and really what you think like went on with that whole situation.
In all honesty, I just feel like it's all fucked up. That's the bottom line. This man was a businessman. This man had a whole family, and he was doing positive within our community. So it's real fucked up because it's like all of the men and women that are trying to do good for African Americans or for people that, are within the minority, they're not able to, continue to fulfill whatever they've started. So it's like they start something, but they're never able to finish it. And I know Nipsey Hussle was working with Derek Grace to fund the school that they was originally going to do in Tampa, but they're not doing that in Tampa anymore. It's going to be August 18th, I think. They're going to open it in Atlanta. So it's just like he was doing so much positive and so much good, and it's just like, dang, in your own hood, you can't even be safe at home. That shit crazy.
Yeah, it was a really, very unfortunate situation, very unexpected. The one thing, that I say, especially the city that we from, it's nothing new. You know what I mean? The hate, the jealousy, the envy,
Right.
It comes from everywhere. And I just think, with this situation, like I was even seeing last night, like, most of the gangs in LA, like, pretty much did a peace treaty.
Right.
They marched together. They did a peace treaty. Like his brother even came out and spoke about the situation. And it's just crazy because it's like this man died execution style. Like, in the history of murderism, I've never seen a nigga come back 2 or 3 times to shoot somebody and make sure like a person is dead. So it really makes you wonder, was it an act of jealousy or was it a hit?
Right. I was gonna ask you that. So if it was a hit, though, do you think it was a hit from where within his community? You know, from the government? Because me personally, I feel like it was a government thing. You know, he was doing too much positive, but it always happens like that. The more positive people are doing, it kind of just seems like, I personally feel like the government don't like it as long as they're a part of the minority.
And you may have some truth to that. The reason why I say that, because think about if you're familiar with Huey P. Newton,
Right.
how he got killed. Almost the same exact way. The only thing is they ran into his home while he was asleep.
Right.
And pretty much shot the same number of times. You know what I mean? So it really does make you wonder, like, you know, how or who and, you know, where, and it's just crazy. But it's just Nipsey, it was unexpected. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that you wish death upon anybody, but
Right.
it's just a situation where it's like a person like that, you would have never expected somebody like that, you know, to be, you know, killed, you know.
But what I also I don't know, like you said, I personally don't know much about Nipsey Hussle and his music.
Mm-hmm.
But what I did like about him, how I ended up, like, you know, just following him, kind of keeping tabs on him, is that, you know, he kind of did his shit from the ground up. And a lot of people in the music industry respects him for that. Like, you know, he owned all his own, you know, rights and shit to his music.
Yep.
So it's like, you have no choice but to respect that. It's like, he's pushing that ownership shit, and it's not just he pushing it on us, like, he's showing us, you know, so we get to lead by his example, you know, we get to follow in his footsteps to do that. And that's what I liked about him.
Yeah. I mean, it's that shit is crazy.
Right.
That shit is crazy. Like, it fucks some of everybody up. And I think the one thing that was amazing, but it's sad, because we saw it with like Soulja Slim,
right,
and with other artists, it's just people starting to actually fuck with the music. Like, his music increased by 3,000% almost.
right,
Like, downloads, streams.
right. They want to get it everywhere because it's a piece of him. And that's how they can, you know, feel close to him. Like, I know I was like on Instagram and people were saying how, like, I never met this man, but, you know, I'm really hurt. Like, I'm crying real tears. So it's like, you know, he touched a lot of people. So that's expected, especially if, you know, we took a major loss like that for him to pass.
Let me ask you a question on a personal level. If you was in Lauren London's shoes, not saying how you would feel, because you can't
Right.
know how you would feel unless you actually went through that situation.
Right.
But you, as his wife, or I would say as she's his widow at this point.
Right.
How would you go forward after this situation? Like, what would you do to not only make sure that your husband's legacy lives on?
All I gotta do is, you know, I would have to just pick up where he left off, because that would, for me, other than our kid, would be the only way that, you know, I know that I'm close to him, or, you know, that I know I'm fulfilling what he wanted done. So I couldn't even imagine how she feel. You know, I don't even want to try to imagine that. I don't want that type of hurt. I don't want anyone to ever feel that type of hurt. But all I would be able to do is just pick up and continue to do, you know, what he was doing.
And talking about, you know, on the same subject, I know we were talking about Dr. Sebi earlier. You say Sebi, Sabai, everybody butchered this man's name.
Right.
If you're not familiar with who he is, he was a Honduran herbalist. He had a 1987 lawsuit, and he pretty much beat the lawsuit. You know, he had, you know, claims of saying that he had a cure for cancer and a cure for AIDS.
Right.
So,
and all of a sudden he disappeared.
Right, just disappeared. And believe it or not, when Lisa Left Eye died, that's what she was, you know, down there, you know, with studying, analyzing, however you want to say it. And it's just so ironic, you know, that Nipsey was coming out with this documentary.
Exactly, to pick up where he left off. And now, you know, the closer and closer it's getting to the release of it, all of a sudden, you know, you end up getting hit up in front of your own little shopping plaza that you own. That's crazy.
Exactly.
That's crazy. 1 + 1 ain't equaling 2 right now. It's looking like 12 to me.
But listen, y'all, that was the end of our Icing segment. When we come back, we're going to speak about our men, still men. That's the berry on top. Stay tuned.